Let us start this meeting with our universal prayer. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom, O hidden light, shining in every creature, O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Chairperson of the Indian Section Convention 1, Dr. Deepa Padhi, International President Tim Boyd, brothers and sisters. Greetings to everyone watching the online program of the Indian Section. I welcome all of you to the Indian Section Convention 1, which is traditionally held on the first full day of the convention. This is an online meeting because of the extraordinary circumstances related to COVID-19. The time we are meeting may be different, but I'm sure we all share the same love and affection for each other and the same feelings of brotherhood that makes us all Theosophists. I'm very thankful to our International Secretary for making this arrangement for the Indian Section Convention 1, and to Brother Shikhar Agnihotri for helping us in our recording and translations in different languages. I'm grateful to our International President Tim Boyd for accepting our invitation to inaugurate this convention. Finally, I'm thankful to our International Vice President, Dr. Deepa Padhi, to chair this convention. I will now request the presidents or secretaries or their representatives of the various federations of the Indian section to give their greetings, making sure that they complete that in 30 seconds.
I, on behalf of ASSAM Theosophical Federation and on my own behalf, do extend very warm greetings and best wishes to all members who will attend the Indian Section Convention to be held on 27th and 30th December 2020 and the International Convention. I wish the convention a grand success. Thank you.
Myself, T.K. Dotto, President, Bengal Theosophical Federation. I congratulate the online organizers of the Indian Convention of Theosophical Society in their noble venture, and I wish them all success, particularly in the backdrop of this COVID situation prevailing throughout the world. It's a great venture, and I wish that they achieve all success in this cause. Thank you.
To note that the 129th Annual Convention of the Indian Section is going to be held online due to COVID-19. We have every hope that the deliberations of the learned theosophists in this convention will go a long way to propagate the essence of theosophy among the general masses. I, Chittaranjan Sinha, President of the Bihar Theosophical Federation, wish the convention a great success. Thank you.
On behalf of all the members of the Bombay Theosophical Federation, I bring a warm greetings for the 145th International Convention and the Indian Section Convention. I wish all the success for this convention under the able leadership of Brother Team Boyd, International President, Brother Pradeep Gohil, Indian Section President. All the members of the Theosophical Society will feel cycle of awareness. All the best. Thank you very much. Vinayak Pandya, President, Bombay Theosophical Federation.
Namaskar to all the delegates of the Indian Section Convention 2020. We, the members of the Tele Federation, send our heartfelt greetings for the success of the convention, which has the most apt theme Awareness Transforms Life. May we all strive our best to transform our lives and that of the people with whom we come into contact with. May the benevolent forces and blessings of the great ones help us in this endeavor. May peace be on all.
From the member of the Gujarat Federation to all the members of the Indian Section Council and convey our best wishes to the President of Indian Section, Brother Pradeep Singh Gohil, on 129th Indian Section Convention.
A very good morning to all my brothers, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dakshinamurthy, Vice President of the Karnataka Theosophical Federation, Bangalore, here before you now to convey the message and good wishes to you all over the inaugural event of annual convention of the Indian Section 2020. I, on behalf of the President and the office bearers of the Karnataka Federation, and on behalf of the rank and file of the workers and members of all the lodges constituting the Federation, wish the event whole success that I expect would take us all forward in our march towards perfection. Thank you.
Dear brothers and sisters, on behalf of the President and members of the Kerala Theosophical Federation, I wish the 145th International Convention all success. I also wish all the success to the 129th Indian Section Convention also. This is a very unique convention. Though we missed the opportunity to meet at Adayar, we are able to meet mentally all over the world. Greetings to everyone. Thank you.
I extend our warm greetings and best wishes for a successful convention.
Good morning. I, Sanjay Pote, on behalf of the members and well-wishers of Marathi Theosophical Federation, as well as Theosophical Order of Service Maharashtra region, send greetings for the success of 129th Convention of Indian Section Theosophical Society. Good wishes. Thank you.
आप सभी को नमस्कार. I, Dr. Kamal Manod, President MP and Rajasthan Theosophical Federation and TOS Jodhpur, extend heartiest wishes for the organization of 145th International Convention and 129th Indian Section Convention. May the Supreme Power shower divine blessings and grand and profound success of the convention. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Dear brothers and sisters attending the International Convention, I bring greetings from the Rayalaseema Theosophical Federation to all the delegates, especially to the International President Tim Boyd. I hope the meetings will go on well under these novel circumstances of COVID-19. Thank you.
President of Tamil Theosophical Federation, glad to convey greetings on my behalf and on behalf of the members of Tamil Theosophical Federation to national and international brothers and sisters of the society attending the 145th International Convention 2020 to be conducted online from 27th to 30th December 2020, and I wish the convention a grand success, providing unity among the participants, though not physically, and hope that this conference will imbibe information to create awareness to spread the theosophical object to all over the world.
My name is Ramchandra Rao, President, Telugu Federation. On behalf of all the members of Telugu Federation, I convey hearty greeting and best wishes. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. I am U.S. Pandey, President of the Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand Federation. On behalf of all members of my federation and also on my own behalf, I offer a very warm and hearty greetings to Brother Pradeep Gohil, President of the Indian section, Brother Narayanan, Treasurer of the Indian section, and to all participants in today's convention. The theme of the convention, Awareness Transforms Life, is very important and appropriate, and I hope the proceedings of the convention will help all of us to transform our life. I wish the convention all success.
Namaskar. On behalf of Utkal Theosophical Federation, I, Pradeep Mahapatra, welcome you to 129th Indian Section Convention. I wish all success of this type of conference. Thank you all. Namaskar.
I also have a greeting that has been sent from the ASSAM Federation by their president, Brother Gokul Chandra Deka. He says, I, on behalf of ASSAM Theosophical Federation and on my own behalf, do extend very warm greetings and best wishes to all members who will attend the convention to be held from 27th to 30th December. It is said that Theosophy believes in the existence of the masters who do not ignore anyone, but try to teach everyone who may sincerely approach them. May the blessings of those masters and the great ones be in the hearts of all the brothers and sisters of the Theosophical Society. I wish the convention a grand success. At this point, may I call upon Dr. Deepa Padhi to conduct the convention as the chairperson of this convention.
Namaste. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Warm greetings to all of you. I must thank Brother Pradeep Gohil, President, Indian Section, for inviting me to chair the 129th Indian Section Convention. I feel honored. This year's convention, both international and national, is unique and first of its kind in the history of Theosophical Society, as it is being held virtually. This present situation, due to pandemic, is to our benefit, as we are able to connect to more people than past years. For those who had never attended Indian Section Convention, it is a blessing. The theme of the convention, Awareness Transforms the Self, is very profound and need of the hour. Now it is my privilege to invite Brother Tim Boyd, the International President of TS, to inaugurate the 129th Indian Section Convention on the theme Awareness Transforms Life and address the audience. Our president is one of those leaders who has the ability to translate vision into reality, a thought into action. Brother Tim Boyd.
Well, greetings, friends, brothers and sisters. Once again this year, I have been asked to inaugurate this Indian Section Convention. Once again this year, I'm very happy and honored to be able to do it. I'm not telling anyone anything they don't know when I say that this year is a very different year than any other year we have experienced in the TS's history. This year is historic. Any other year since the Theosophical Society was founded at these events, such as the Indian Sections Convention and at the International Convention, we have been able to gather together, face to face, person to person, in a physical environment. It was our great hope that we would be inviting all of you to join us once again this year at Adyar. So many things have changed that we wanted to share with all of you, but that will have to wait until 2021. I think we all remember a year ago when all of us were gathered at the Indian Section's headquarters there in Varanasi for really a most wonderful convention, the 144th. And we had an opportunity to see so many of the changes, so many of the upgrades. We had an opportunity to sit in the newly erected Radha Bernier Amphitheater there at the headquarters of the section for a wonderful international convention. I don't believe at that time anyone had any clue that this year would be the year that it has turned out to be, that this year would be the time when lockdowns, social isolation, illness would be the ongoing story in our global community. It was, frankly, something that was rather unimaginable. This convention is historic not only because it is the first time that we are not physically together, but also because it is the first time that we are all gathering together online. Although every thing such as this COVID pandemic has a certain dark quality to it in the suffering and the illness and the death and the isolation that it brings with it, there is nothing that does not also have its positive sides. One of those things that we can look to for this convention is that in reality, this year's international convention, it's the first time that we have a truly global convention. In past years, with the International Society, just as with the Indian section, the convention was shared by those who were physically able, financially able, to leave their homes, to come to Adyar, or in last year's case, to Varanasi, to spend that approximate week, and then go home. This year, it's a different story. This year, this entire convention for the Indian section, as for the international, is taking place online. And the reasons for that, of course, are things that we tend to think of as distressing, as difficult. But the fact and the result of that is that for the very first time in the Theosophical Society's history, we have a truly global convention where people are gathering from every corner of the world. registration and participation in this convention from all of the world is beyond anything that it has been in the past. And this is a wonderful possibility for us. One of the things that this pandemic has shown to everyone is that the degree to which we as a human family and as a global community are linked is undeniable. The Theosophical Society was founded specifically with the purpose of promoting an awareness and an experience of what was then described as the brotherhood of all humanity, the oneness and the interdependence that we all share. If there was any doubt about the ways in which we are linked together, certainly this pandemic has been something that should have been a very clear demonstration of a fact that this is a shared planet, that there is one humanity, that suffering in one quarter necessarily is shared in all quarters, and that upliftment in one quarter also ripples throughout the whole. Although it has been a difficult time for us as a human family, it has also been a time that has allowed us to ask some different sorts of questions. If we're at all aware during this time that we have had a certain degree of isolation, there should be some ideas, some thoughts that have come to our mind. What is it that brought us to this position? At the moment, for a while, the planet, in terms of its human activity, paused. The pattern of behavior that has been globally shared was interrupted. And in that process, we had a chance to see some remarkable things. As that pattern that has been so overwhelming as our human direction ceased, subsided, we found that the natural world had an opportunity to restore itself. Fish were seen in rivers that had never been able to see them. The skies over many of our cities in India and around the world for the first time became visible. Gone was the haze of smog that we are continually throwing into the atmosphere. The questions that we need to ask: this pandemic will end. And when it does, we would not be serving ourselves or this world we live in well if our response was to return to the status quo. Because it is a status quo that clearly has demonstrated certain shortcomings. From the theosophical point of view, the behavior that we have all engaged in, that we have accepted as a universal idea of progress, has all been based on a fundamentally incorrect idea that we are inherently separate from one another, that the planet and its what we call resources are ours to use in order to satisfy our, not needs, but our unending desires and wants. That every community of living beings were ours to use as we see fit, to exploit the earth, the plants of the earth, the animals of the earth, the trees, the fishes, and the people. It's a pattern of behavior that had foreseeable outcomes. Pollution, degradation of the environment, the wars that are fought for various forms of resources, social, economic inequalities, and even pandemic. When we look back to the founding days of the Theosophical Society, one thing is clear. In that foundational letter from the Mahachohan, a specific area of focus and a specific reason for the being of this theosophical movement was announced, was indicated. Brutal materialism was the name that was given to it. And the founders were charged with creating this theosophical movement that could in some way provide an alternative to this brutalizing influence that is expressing itself in our time as an endless consumption, an endless pillaging, plundering of the resources of the planet for the wants of this one participant in this global life, the human family. If at the end of this pandemic we have not explored and come up with some level of answers for ourselves on how it is we can behave, then this time has been lost. It's been for naught. Our founders' response to this call to action was to emphasize that this thing that we call theosophy is most clearly understood, is most directly experienced through the activity that they would have described as compassion. H.P. Blavatsky talked about theosophy in many ways, but one of the things that she said is that theosophy is altruism, first and foremost. That the degree to which we focus our studies, our meditation, our prayers, our thoughts on alleviating the suffering that is experienced all around us and within ourselves. To that degree can we genuinely be called theosophists. Very often in the past, when I have had this opportunity to speak with you at the Indian Convention, it has been on New Year's Day. For 6 years, that has been the pattern. And for me, it was always a very good time because it's a time when we as people, as members of the Theosophical Society, turn our thoughts both forward and backward to examine this year that has brought us to this new opportunity, a new time to recommit, to recognize, to examine, and based on what we see, to resolve. Not in the form of some idle passing New Year's resolution, but to identify for ourselves what it is that is our deepest aspiration. Why it is that we study. Why it is that we try to know, that we try to do, that we try to become more effective in our thinking and in our service. For each of us, there's an answer to that question. And it's something that we need to not only seek, but to express. This has been a difficult year for many people. And what is going to come next, we don't know. But you can be certain that there will be new challenges. Every year has its trials. Every year has its challenges, and every year has its lessons. The hope is that we will have learned the lessons of 2020 and before, and can use these things as a guide, perhaps, in how we're going to approach these coming days. I'll share with you a quote from H.P. Blavatsky. She said something if she had been living through 2020, I think it would have been one of those comments that we would say was directed exactly at this time. Of course, she was living in the late 1800s. But she said this, and I'll just read it for you. Do not be afraid of your difficulties. Do not wish that you could be in other circumstances than you are. For when you have made the best of an adversity, it becomes a stepping stone to a splendid opportunity. Although many have expressed that they cannot wait for 2020 to end, let it end with us becoming stronger. Let it end with us becoming wiser. And out of that growing wisdom, let us recommit. As always, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to address the Indian section. And I am thankful to your General Secretary, your President, Mr. Pradeep Gohil, for once again asking me to be here with you. So with that, I turn it over to others, and blessings in your convention and in this coming year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim, for the great message, which is inspiring and thought-provoking. You have rightly said, the time has come to ask ourselves the question whether we are theosophist in the true sense of the term, whether we are altruist. Thanks for being with us, though virtually. We are all aware of the competence and dynamism of Pradeep Gohil, which are reflected in every corner of the headquarters of Indian section at Varanasi. I would now request Brother Pradeep Gohil, President Indian section, to address the state of the Indian section. Pradeep Gohil.
Chairperson of the Indian Section Convention 1, Dr. Deepa Padhi, International President Tim Boyd, brothers and sisters. Greetings, everyone. I'm again very pleased to report to you all that the state of the Indian section is very healthy. Let me give you a bird's eye view of Indian section's work in the past year. The Indian section had emphasized an improvement in the administrative matters during 2017-18. In the year 2018-19, the emphasis was on motivating federations, lodges, and all members to achieve true propagation of theosophy. It was largely achieved by a significant increase in new members. Organizing a unique goal-setting meet for all federation presidents and secretaries of the Indian section helped to focus the Indian section's attention on priority issues. This year, it was our goal to increase the income of the Indian section so that we can meet all the expenses and spend freely on propagation of Theosophy. We constructed a building named Harmony in place of the dilapidated building at a cost of about 1.3 crores. The ground floor was rented to a clothing store at about rupees 2 lakhs per month, and the first floor to Bank of Baroda at rupees 2.3 lakhs per month. This way, the Indian section will get a permanent monthly income of about rupees 4.3 lakhs per month to meet their expenses. The second and third floor of the building was kept for use as a decent dormitory with 36 beds, 5 bathrooms, and 5 toilets on each floor. The Suryashram guest house was remodeled and extended to have a total of 26 double-bedded deluxe rooms with attached bathrooms. Thus, 124 guests can be accommodated anytime in these 2 new guest houses with new vitrified tiles, imported mattresses, geysers, showers, etc. Another 76 persons can be accommodated in our old guest houses like Sudarshan, Shriram House, Panchakshri Bungalow, Shantikunj, and some in the Alcott House and the John Coates House. So a total of 200 persons can be given accommodation at our headquarters for study camps, conferences, etc. The first goal review and the second goal setting meet was held in the Annie Besant Hall at the Indian section headquarters from 30th September to 1st October 2019. The Federation presidents and secretaries, along with executive committee members of the Indian section, participated in it. The objective of inspiring all federations to do good work in Theosophy was achieved through tracking and reviewing the goals every month in the Indian Theosophist. The overall average achievement for all the federations and the Indian section in the previous year was 63%. That was a good beginning in view of the challenging goals taken, but there is room for improvement. The setting of goals for all federations and that of the Indian section for 2019-20 was easily accomplished as participants were trained in it in the previous year. One very important work done at the Indian section headquarters was the extensive renovation of the amphitheater. It was done by laying a stepped cemented flooring with a capacity for 1,500 persons, reconstruction of the stage, permanent lighting arrangement, a beautiful ridged powdered steel green roof over the entire area. This is how the dream project of Radha Bernier Amphitheater was completed at a cost of rupees 35 lakhs, largely contributed by the Indian section and some donors. It was inaugurated by the International President Tim Boyd on 31st December 2019, prior to the start of the 144th convention of the Theosophical Society at Varanasi. It was an unforgettable scene as 6 faculty members lighted their candles and went down the 3 passages of the amphitheater to light the candles of the audience. A song, Jyot Se Jyot Jaga Ke Chalo, was played as within 4 minutes, every one of the 1,500 people in the amphitheater were standing with the candle raised above their heads, shining bright in the dark winter morning. It symbolized how light and love can pass from one person to other. The main donor of the amphitheater was Shri Ashwin Bhai Shroff, chairman of Excel Industries Limited from Mumbai. He donated 15 lakhs of rupees for the project from his personal account. His wife, Mrs. Ushaben Shroff, who passed away the year before, was an active theosophist and will be feeling very, very happy wherever she is to see the realization of the project. In addition to its use for conferences and conventions of the Theosophical Society, the amphitheater will also provide a forum to all the institutions located in the Indian section campus at Varanasi, namely the Annie Besant School, Besant Theosophical School, Vasant Kanya Inter College, and Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalay to hold functions and do other activities. Its capacity to accommodate 1,500 people will enable these educational institutions to organize joint functions and create stronger bonds among the students. This will help to spread the light of love, friendship, and harmony among the students, teach them the true meaning of universal brotherhood, and provide them glimpses of the theosophical teachings. The real highlight of the year was the hosting of the 144th International Convention at Varanasi after 30 years. It was a huge success with a record registration of 1,501 delegates. The preparations had started way back in May 2019 with the appointment of Brother Shikhar Agnihotri as the convention officer and Mrs. Uma Bhattacharya as the chief coordinator with our institutions. About 50 double-bedded rooms with attached bathrooms and vitrified tiles flooring were available for our foreign guests. There were beds, mattresses, pillows, bed sheets, pillow covers, shawls, blankets, and geysers for their convenience. The deluxe room had a writing table and a chair also. Arrangements were made for providing both Western and Indian food at different paces. The Western food was just like what is traditionally available at the Leadbeater Chamber Cafe. In fact, we had requested Adyar to send Chinu, the residential expert of Western food, to come to Varanasi to supervise the preparation. The Indian food had both South Indian and North Indian dishes in every meal. The people really enjoyed the food. There were so many other facilities provided during the convention, like a free shoe shine stall, tea and coffee stalls, a fruit stall, a dress stall, a convenience store, electric rickshaws ferrying delegates from residential rooms to the amphitheater and back, etc. A Varanasi sightseeing tour was also organized at a cost of 2,500 rupees per person with two tour guides. It included a 90 minutes Alaknanda cruise, visits to Besant School at Rajghat, Buddhist pilgrim spot at Sarnath, the Ramnagar Fort, temples of Varanasi, Banaras Hindu University, and an evening aarti at Dashashwamedh Ghat. The only thing the Indian section could not control was the weather, as the biting cold of Varanasi was at its peak and slightly dampened the spirit of the delegates. All in all, everyone expressed that it was a memorable convention. The Indian section was totally closed due to the lockdown in the country. Yet, we paid the full salary to all its employees during the period of shutdown due to COVID-19. In fact, we also paid the contract workers who prepared the food in our hostel. They had gone away to their villages, but we still found out their contact numbers and requested them to give their bank account details, and we transferred the money into those accounts. This is the least we could have done in the trying times. There was a proposal to purchase the land adjacent to our Himalayan Study Center in Gohil to ensure that a high-rise building does not pop up there and block the excellent view we have from there of the valley and the Chote Kailash peak in the far horizon. However, the cost of it was more than 1 crore rupees, and the executive committee decided not to put so much money in a dead investment which does not give any tangible returns immediately. There is no progress in the matter of changing the name of Upendranath Basu to that of the Indian section, the Theosophical Society, in the Khatoni with the Tehsildar, Varanasi, related to the ownership of our land at Kamacha, Varanasi. I have made several representations to the Nayab Tehsildar and the SDO to no avail. In fact, I had contacted Mr. Deepak Agarwal, Divisional Commissioner, who called the SDO and explained that it is safer for such a large 17-acre land to be in the name of Indian section, the Theosophical Society, rather than an individual, particularly when we have the original lease deed in our name. Still, the work is not yet done. Intense follow-up will be done after COVID-19 relents. The Indian section is now fully compliant to GST. The additional income of more than 50 lakhs of rupees per year generated from the lease of ground and first floor of Harmony building compelled us to take the GST number. We also expect to give the block vacated by Vijaya Bank on lease and increase our income further. The admission form for new members had been slightly modified, and all members have been requested to download it from the website and keep it with them for giving it to friends who may want to join the Theosophical Society. The 128th Convention 1 of the Indian section was held at the Radha Barnier Amphitheatre in the Indian section campus at Varanasi on 1st January 2020. The International Vice President of the Theosophical Society, Dr. Deepa Padhi, was the chairperson. The President of the Indian section welcomed the International President, Tim Boyd, and Deepa Padhi, along with all the delegates. He then read the greetings from the well-wishers. Then the President, Secretary, or representative of each federation conveyed their greetings. The International President, Brother Tim Boyd, gave his inaugural address, followed by my State of the Indian section address, along with a slideshow. The report of the Treasurer was presented by Mr. V. Narayanan, and the concluding remarks were given by the chairperson, Dr. Deepa Padhi. The session ended with a vote of thanks given by me. The Indian Section Convention 2 was held on 3rd January 2020 at the same place and was chaired by Brother Pedro Oliveira. The theme of the convention was Kindle the Spark Within. He introduced the subject in a scholarly way, interspersed with his characteristic humor. He then went on to introduce the 5 speakers and mentioned the subject on which they would speak. A member of the Varanasi Lodge and the principal of our college, Dr. Rachna Srivastav, spoke on awareness of the divine spark within. A young theosophist from the Telugu Federation, Brother Sairam Pate, spoke on the divine spark in action. Another young theosophist and secretary of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan Federation, Brother Divyarth Dubey, spoke on the role of the divine spark in change of consciousness. A very dedicated, knowledgeable, and sincere theosophist who has devoted his life to the propagation of theosophy, Brother Pradeep Mahapatra spoke on the divine spark and human evolution. Yet another young theosophist from Bengal Federation, Satrajit Chakravarti, spoke on cultivating the divine spark within. Finally, the chairman, Brother Pedro Oliveira, gave his concluding remarks. This being an election year, in its meeting held on 4th January 2020, the Indian Section Council re-elected me uncontested as President of the Indian Section for a further term of 3 years from January 4, 2020 to January 4, 2023. In the same meeting, they elected Brother V. Narayanan uncontested as Treasurer of the Indian Section for a further term of 2 years from January 4, 2020 to January 4, 2022. His services were all appreciated by the council members for having served with distinction and having improved the financial situation of the Indian section significantly. He had worked dynamically with new ideas and continuously strived to do the right thing quickly. A meeting to celebrate 172nd birth anniversary of Dr. Annie Besant was organized at the Indian section headquarters on 1st October. The speaker on this occasion was Brother Sadev Patro, President of Utkal Theosophical Federation. Brother U.S. Pandey delivered a talk at the Indian section headquarters on 17th November on the occasion of the Foundation Day of the Indian section and the Theosophical Society. A meeting to observe Adya Day was held at the Indian section headquarters on 17th February 2020. No meeting was held this year on White Lotus Day, when we traditionally pay homage to Madame Blavatsky. This was because of the strict lockdown due to COVID-19 crisis at that time. The Easter conference was scheduled to be held from 10th April to 12th April. It is traditionally organized at Adyar by the Indian section. Good planning for it was done by the conference officer, Mr. Pradeep Mahapatra, who was going to conduct the conference on behalf of the Indian section. But unfortunately, it had to be cancelled due to COVID-19. A study camp on the teachings of Theosophy and J. Krishnamurti was directed by Professor P. Krishna, a life member of the Theosophical Society. The camp was held at the section headquarters from 2nd to 4th October 2019. The camp started with the recitation of universal prayer, and then President of the Indian section welcomed and introduced the director of the camp. The camp had the reference book, A Jewel on a Silver Platter by Professor P. Krishna. In all, 79 members of the Indian section got themselves registered for the camp. A program of devotional music was organized in the evening on 2nd October. It was organized by the Indian section in collaboration with the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage at Varanasi. The following 9 groups registered this year for the summer study camps at the Himalayan Study Center at Bhowali from 20th April to 21st June. Rayalaseema Federation, TOS India, Kerala Federation, Bihar Federation, Marathi Federation, Gujarat and Bombay Federations, Utkal Federation, UP and Uttarakhand, and MP Federation, Telugu Federation. Unfortunately, the study camps could not be organized due to COVID-19 pandemic. No workshop was held this year, again because of the corona crisis. A lot of work has been done in the area of propagation of Theosophy in new areas. The Rayalaseema Federation had done very good work in starting a center, but the activities could not be held as planned due to lockdown. A certificate course and introductory program was organized by Varanasi Lodge and VKM Postgraduate College for a group of students on realization through Theosophy at the Indian section headquarters, Varanasi, from 16 to 18 January 2020. The aim and objective of the course was to acquaint the students with the concept of Theosophy, its significance in the contemporary chaos in promoting confidence and strength in meeting the challenges of life and obtaining harmony and peace, sustaining humanity. It was an intensive and comprehensive 15-hour course. Brother V. Narayanan taught students how to practice meditation to achieve inner peace in order to develop concentration and overcome stress. Sister Uma Bhattacharya, Principal Rachna Srivastav, Dr. Kumud Ranjan, Dr. Tripti Rani Jaiswal delivered lectures on Theosophy as source of value education. Dr. Beena Singh explained the students the gist of J. Krishnamurthy's book, At the Feet of the Master. Regarding the President's visits, I was invited by the Greek section to participate in a conference on the history of Theosophy in Athens, Greece, from 12th to 18th October 2019. I was also invited to speak on reincarnation, its causes and process at the European School of Theosophy conference at Hotel Negroponte in Eretia, Evia Island, Greece, at the same time. I also spoke on ancient wisdom and modern science at the same convention on the 17th of October. I was invited as a guest of honor to give the inaugural address on transformation through pure heart at Centennial Annual Conference of the Telugu Theosophical Federation to be held at Rajamundry on Saturday, 21st March 2020. I had left Varanasi for Rajamundry, but the conference was cancelled due to COVID-19 when I was midway, and I have stayed at my residence in Bhavnagar, Gujarat, from that time onwards. I was invited to deliver a public lecture on Sunday, 22nd March, on self-realization in the light of Theosophy at the same conference. Even that program was cancelled. I was invited to deliver a lecture at the European Section Conference in York, United Kingdom on 4th August. However, the conference was cancelled due to COVID-19. There were 16 national lecturers for the year who were all quite busy in delivering lectures. But Brother U.S. Pandey, Brother Pradeep Kumar Mahapatra, Brother Shikhar Agnihotri, Brother C.A. Shinde, and Brother A.P. Lokhande did most of the lecturing. They could have done much more if COVID-19 did not happen. Brother U.S. Pandey delivered a total of 41 lectures at about 30 different places all over the country. After the lockdown, he organized Theosophical talks in Hindi thrice in a week during April, May, and June 2020, twice a week during July, and once a week during August and September. He directed online study of the books, the wisdom of the Upanishads, and the beginning of the sixth root race during July and August 2020. He joined as a speaker and panelist during 4 online international seminars organized by Adamant Lodge, Moscow. Brother Pradeep Mahapatra delivered a total of 17 lectures at various places and online programs. In addition, he conducted 6 study classes online on different theosophical books, each for several days. He conducts online study classes every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. on his favorite subject, the Mahatma letters. Brother Shikhar Agnihotri delivered 16 lectures at various places and online. He conducted a worldwide webinar on Gayatri Mantra for 2 hours. He started a YouTube channel, Pragya CS Studio, a first of its kind, to propagate the teachings of Theosophy in English, Hindi, and Spanish. He published guided healing meditation and Guru Purnima videos based on theosophical studies. He delivered 2 online talks arranged by the Philippine section. Brother Shinde delivered 21 lectures at various places in person. He conducted a study class on the Book of Life. He presided over a talk delivered by Anand Olande at the 144th International Convention in January 2020 at Varanasi. He was also invited to speak at the centenary annual conference of the UP and Uttarakhand Federation. Brother A.P. Lokhande delivered 7 lectures in Hindi, including the one at the annual conference of MP and Rajasthan Federation. He delivered another 15 talks in Marathi at various places in and around Maharashtra. Brother B.D. Tendulkar visited lodges at Malegaon, Sangli in Maharashtra, and Belgaum in Karnataka, delivered lectures on theosophy and self-truth. He participated in 2 video conferences on self-culture and Mahatma letters. Brother Harihar Raghavan delivered 3 lectures in English and Tamil and was the chief guest at the 73rd annual conference of the Tamil Federation at Tanjore. Brother Bipul Sarma gave a talk on awakening the divine spark within and on service above self after inaugurating the TOS conference in Assam. He was the chairperson of the symposium on Theosophy, the Road to Freedom. Brother G. Dakshinamurthy directed a 3-day seminar in Kolar district in Karnataka on Brother Surendra Narayan's book, Life is for Living. He gave lectures at Bangalore City Lodge twice in a month on spiritual healing. He designed and conducted monthly seminars on holistic education at School of Theosophy and Meditation at Bangalore. Brother R.V. Vastrad delivered a few lectures in the Karnataka Theosophical Federation, but was limited due to his heart bypass surgery. Brother Narsi Thakadia delivered a lecture on the story of C.W. Leadbeater on Adyar Day at Gujarat Theosophical Federation. He spoke on fundamentals of theosophy at Vikram Lodge, Ujjain, and delivered a few lectures on textbook of Theosophy at Junagadh in Gujarat. Brother S.K. Pandey delivered a talk on mystery of reincarnation at Shankar Lodge of Delhi Federation. Sister Sonal Murli spoke on HPB's diagram of meditation on the Google Meet platform hosted by Utkal Federation. Brother N.C. Krishna did not get an opportunity to visit any lodges or deliver any talks during the year. Dr. L. Nagesh conducted 3 programs at different times in the Kolar district. Brother Ran Kumar Rawat conducted a seminar at the Dombivli Lodge on the Theosophical Lodge, how to recognize a member of the Theosophical Society, and Theosophy in daily life. The Basant Education Fellowship currently manages 2 schools, namely the Basant Theosophical Higher Secondary School for boys and the Vasant Kanya Inter College for girls, both situated around our section headquarter campus. Both the institutions work under the Uttar Pradesh Education Board and are affiliated to it. Both the institutions have produced good results. There were 2 centenary conferences during this year. Uttar Pradesh Federation of the Indian Section, the Theosophical Society, organized its centenary conference at Agra from 11th to 13th October 2019. The president of TS, Brother Tim Boyd, inaugurated the conference. Brother C.A. Shinde and Brother Pradeep Mahapatra were the guests of honor. Telugu Federation had also done detailed planning for celebrating their centenary on 20th to 22nd March 2020 during their annual conference. Unfortunately, as I have said earlier, the conference was postponed due to the nationwide lockdown. There were 65 foreign visitors to the Indian section headquarters at Varanasi on the occasion of the 144th International Convention. It was indeed a pleasure to have them all. The membership of the Indian section on 30th September 2020 was 10,413 compared to the membership of 10,703 on 30th September 2019. There was a net decrease of 290 members during the year compared to a decrease of 441 members last year. The number of members in good standing as on 1st October 2020 is 7,230. Only 7,230 members can vote in the presidential elections this year. Total number of members dropped due to non-payment of dues during the year stood at 926 against 1,206 last year. Total number of members who passed to peace during the year was 208 against 137 last year. This way, we lost 1,135 members in all against bringing in 845 members, a net decrease of 290 members against a decrease of 134 members last year. There were 659 new members against 785 last year and 186 revived members against 118 last year. At present, there are 492 lodges and centers against 486 last year under 16 federations and headquarters for the unattached members. Membership of 926 members had lapsed this year as compared to 1206 last year. Maximum efforts will have to be put by all federations to reverse the decline and achieve a net growth in membership. One of the biggest problems we are facing is accuracy in reporting the total number of members in good standing. The reason is that a number of life members pass to peace, but in many cases, the same is not reported. We are proposing a constitutional amendment to remove life membership. The Indian Theosophist, the section's journal, was published every month from October 2019 to September 2020, except the fact that May and June 2020 issues were combined because of the lockdown from 22nd March 2020. There were no special issues this time. The average monthly circulation is about 2,100 copies. This year, the Indian section website had an average 550 visits per month against 250 last year. We had 6,521 new users who had 8,820 sessions during the year with a session to user ratio of 1.34. We also had 27,093 page views with a 3.05 pages per section ratio. The total visitors were 6,607. We also had 459 newsletter subscribers. The contents of the website are frequently uploaded to notify new events and news. This has become very helpful in informing members about various online meetings that are conducted all over India during the corona crisis. The website is also hosting regional publications like Theosophic Jyoti from Gujarat Federation and bulletins from Bombay Theosophical Federation, Utkal Theosophical Federation, and many others. In the Theosophical Order of Service, Brother K. Shivprasad, who was Regional Secretary of TOS since 2009 and National Secretary of TOS from 2017, has been appointed Director of TOS in India from 2020, the 1st of March. A new national committee was formed with the retirement of Brother B.L. Bhattacharya as National Director. The Executive Committee appreciated the committed service rendered by Brother Bhattacharya for 14 years. The Indian section, the Theosophical Society, rendered continuous support to TOS. The new office bearers this year are Brother K. Shivprasad, who is the National Director, Sister Kumud Ranjan, who is the National Secretary, and Brother V. Narayanan, who is the Treasurer. This year, 58 life and patron members have been enrolled from different regions. The corona pandemic has restricted activities due to the lockdown. TOS India contributed rupees 2 lakhs towards the Prime Minister Cares Fund, and different regions of TOS also sent money directly to government to meet the challenge of this unique situation. Odisha region donated rupees 20,000 and Colonel Kailash from Noida donated rupees 10,000 for the severe cyclone Amphan victims in West Bengal during the month of June. Now let us look at the status of the college and other educational institutions, as well as the hostel run by the Indian section. The Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalay, our college, which is rated A by NAC, is a leading postgraduate institution of our state and directly run by the Indian section. Presently, it is teaching 14 subjects in arts and social sciences at undergraduate level and 5 subjects at the postgraduate level. From the 2020-21 sessions, we have received approval from Banaras Hindu University for introducing geography at undergraduate level and AIHC and archaeology, philosophy, Sanskrit, history, economics, and political science. The college also runs certificate courses under self-financing scheme in spoken English and fashion designing. A 30-hour certificate course was organized in which 50 students were enrolled. In 2019-20, a total of 1,363 students were enrolled in the undergraduate course and 294 in the PG courses. This year, another 300 students will be enrolled in the new course introduced. 8 students of the college were awarded BHU gold medals in the convocation. This is a record of all times because never has it happened in the history that a single college has been awarded with so many gold medals. This year, 2 new research projects were awarded. 5 books and 56 research papers were published. In all, 25 lectures, 24 workshops, 15 educational tours, and a youth festival was organized by the college. The birth anniversary of Dr. Annie Besant was celebrated on 1st October. Vasant Kanya Inter College runs under the control of Besant Education Fellowship, a constituent body of the Indian section of the Theosophical Society. It is Hindi medium girls inter college from class 6 to class 12 under the granting aid by Uttar Pradesh Intermediate Board of Education. The inter college has 792 students this year with a total teaching strength of 26. In the high school, the result was 100%, while in the intermediate section, the result was 98.7% of the students passing. This year, a new course in commerce was introduced in the high school. In the current session, classes are conducted online due to Corona. The Besant Theosophical Higher Secondary School, known as BTS, is functioning under the control of BEF since 1955. It is a boys' school with classes from 6th to 10th. It has 500 students, 13 teachers, and 8 staff members. The class 10th result was 98.7%. A number of activities are done by the students in this school also. The Annie Besant School is a English medium co-education primary school from prep to class 8, directly run by the Indian section. It follows the CBSE pattern curriculum. There are 334 students, 12 teaching staff, and 8 non-teaching staff. Many extracurricular activities are performed by the students. Finally, the Vasant Balika Vihar Hostel is being run by the Indian section to provide hostel facilities to the degree college for students coming from outside of Varanasi. To meet the higher demand of girl students, a new ground plus 3-floor building with 72 double-bedded rooms was constructed at a cost of about 3.5 crores. It is considered to be the best hostel in BHU, as indicated to us by its Vice Chancellor during the inauguration. The number of students has increased from 166 in the previous year to 275 against a new capacity of 312 students. Let us now have a review of the financial position of the Indian section. It is necessary to recall the last paragraph of the financial review of the year 2018-19 to matters in perspective. It said, when the going projects of the girls' hostel, additional college block, and Harmony building are completed, there will be a substantial increase in the revenue of the section, as I had promised to the officers of the federations at the goal-setting session at Bhowali in October 2018. As expected, the 3 projects were completed, and the hostel was almost fully occupied, and the ground floor and the first floor of the Harmony building were let out and have started generating returns as expected. Then came the unfortunate COVID-19 calamity to the nation, and it severely affected the physical health and also the financial health of the Indian economy, which slowly percolated down the line to the districts, and Varanasi was no exception. In the month of March, the hostels were closed, and the lockdown severely crippled the commercial activity of our tenants. During the financial year under review 2019-20, the net surplus of the section was above rupees 1 crore after making prudent provisions for the next financial year, when we expect substantial reduction in our revenue. The lease rent income and the income from hostel operations will see a sharp decline in financial year 2020-21. However, taking all these conditions into consideration, we are making enough financial provisions for normalizing the activities at the headquarters and at the lodge federation level. We have received a report on the property matters from the chairman of the Central Property Committee, Brother C.V. Narayanan. Gorakhpur property has had some problems. Since the Allahabad High Court is not working regularly due to COVID situation, our matter, which was put up there against the state government for taking over the control of the property, has not yet been done. Meanwhile, the property is occupied by the government forcefully, and they are already doing some activity there. Regarding the Gwalior property, since the section council has already passed a resolution for part disposal of the property, efforts are on in this matter to find a suitable buyer. The COVID situation has discouraged prospective buyers. The Dhauleswaram property near Rajamundry is under the Dhauleswaram Lodge and has been already encroached. The encroacher vacated from the section's land, and the matter is now in progress for taking care of it in a proper way. Other properties require personal visit by Mr. Narayanan to make further progress in the matter. Depending upon the development in COVID situation pertaining to travel, these visits will be planned. I will mention about a few notable theosophists who had passed to peace during the last year. Brother I.M. Podwal, a long-standing member of the Theosophical Society, passed to peace on 26 October at his brother's residence in Kerala. He served at the Indian section headquarters at Varanasi after his retirement from the government service. He was active in TOS, Bharat Samaj Puja Association, and various activities of the Theosophical Society. Dr. Vijay Fansalkar of Kashi Tattva Sabha, Varanasi, passed to peace on 12 December 2019. He was born and brought up at the Indian section headquarters, Varanasi, and lived there for the first 28 years of his life. Since childhood, he was active in Bharat Samaj Puja, Vasant Round Table, and then in the Annie Besant Youth Lodge. Even when he started teaching in the university in Pune, he used to come and help during the international convention at the Indian section headquarters. Dr. H.S. Dwivedi, a former secretary of MP and Rajasthan Federation, passed to peace on 13th March 2020. He became a member of the TS on 15 September 1958. The poor health of Dr. Dwivedi did not weaken his determination and passion to contribute to the promotion of the society's work and welfare of the fellow brothers and sisters for over 60 years of his life. Brother A.M. Vacha, retired English teacher who really lived Theosophy, passed to peace on 21st June 2020. He was a dedicated member and motivator for Hyderabad Theosophical Society. His grandfather donated the lodge building, which is heritage building of unique theosophical significance. In all, 2008 members of the section passed to peace during the year under review. May their souls rise to higher planes peacefully and continue their noble work. Let us now look at the tasks ahead. A lot of development work has been done during the last 3 years at the Indian section headquarters, as well as for propagation of Theosophy. However, there is no doubt that a lot remains to be done. Significant efforts have to be made in the areas of propagation of Theosophy. Presently and in the future, most of the work will be done online. The headquarters of the Indian section should have good hardware, proper Wi-Fi, and use a good platform to conduct various meetings like that of the Indian Section Council, the Executive Committee, Basant Education Foundation, etc. It should also conduct online programs for our members. Similar online programs should also be conducted for school and college students as well as for the general public. Getting a good administrative head at the headquarters to assist the Indian section president is the need of the hour. I'm sure good progress will be made in the year ahead. Thank you.
Congratulations, Brother Pradeep, for the wonderful presentation of detailed activities of Indian section. The memory of last year's international convention at Varanasi is still fresh in our mind. It was truly a memorable event. Despite the pandemic, a lot of work has been done in Indian section, particularly for propagation of Theosophy through online. Thank you again for the detailed presentation of activities of Indian section. I now request Mr. V. Narayanan, the Treasurer of the Indian section, to present his annual report.
Hello, welcome and Happy New Year to all. I am the Treasurer Indian section V. Narayanan, reporting about the financial performance of the Indian section for the year ending 2019-20. The Treasurer's report for 2019-20 is a picture of financial fulfillment as well as precautionary provisions for the ensuing COVID-19 period. Towards the end of the financial year, it was clear that the next financial year, 2020-21, will have more financial uncertainties in respect of revenues and running of the educational institutions and hostels due to COVID-19. In my last Treasurer's report, 2018-19, I have stated that because of the taking over of the 3 educational institutions and the hostels, there could be an increase in revenue for the section during the period under review. Also, after the merger of the Vijaya Bank with the Bank of Baroda, the new entity, the Bank of Baroda, has shifted to the first floor of Harmony Building, which has generated a decent rent and will be a long-term source of income for the section. The ground floor of the Harmony Building is occupied by a textile showroom. Thus, from the Harmony Building tenants, the section has generated an income of about 35 lakhs during the year. Because of the visionary approach of the President of the Indian section, ably assisted by a professional executive committee, the section can look forward to a steady recurring revenue from all these sources. Reflecting on the sources cited above, I am glad to report that the Indian section has clocked a net revenue of more than 1 crore at the end of the financial year under review. Considering the unfavorable financial uncertainty in coming year 2020-21, the Executive Committee has resolved to make a provision of Rs 60 lakhs in the General Fund and another 40 lakhs for propagation of Theosophy, which can meet the expenses in the year 2020-21. The section has a net income or expenditure of 1 crore 10 lakhs 47,524 during the year under review. Due to COVID-19 environment, the federations and lodges were not able to arrange many physical gatherings for the purpose of propagation of Theosophy in the year 2020-21 after the international convention. Depending upon the relaxation by the governments, the section may consider funding any possible propagation activities for the financial year 2021-22. The section has invested in capital account A, a new concrete road inside the campus, B, the Radha Bernier Auditorium, which has a permanent roof and a stage and can accommodate about 1,500 delegates. Also, the section's guest house, Suryashram, was completely renovated with all modern amenities, facilitating a successful international convention at our headquarters, Varanasi, last year. I am glad to report that the new block for the VKM Degree College is now ready for commissioning as and when the colleges are allowed to function by the Banaras Hindu University, of which it is an affiliate. At present, the colleges are closed and hostels are also not functioning. Due to uncertainty in the rental market, the plan to reconstruct Ashok Bhavan near our main gate is postponed to a future year. That's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Narayanan, for your meticulous work. You have been given the responsibility of the most difficult job, and you do it so perfectly. We have now come to almost the end of a very interesting and captivating session of the Indian section. Before we close, I would like to share some of my thoughts on the theme of the convention, Awareness Transforms the Self. What is awareness? To be aware means to be conscious of one's being or one's beingness, to be conscious of the present, of the now. In our day-to-day life, most of the works we do without being aware of. But when a work is done with awareness or being fully conscious, it brings success. J. Krishnamurti defines awareness as choiceless observation without evaluation. The word evaluation is very important. In Bhagavad Gita, we find the example of such awareness in the concept of Sthita Prajna, who is constantly aware of one's being without any evaluation of good or bad, fortune or misfortune, pleasure or pain. Sthita Prajna means to be stable in prajna or intellect. This is awareness of the self, but there is still a final stage where one experiences the self. Even when a person becomes Sthita Prajna, he gets transformed. His perception changes, behavior changes, he talks differently. That is why Arjuna was curious to know how the Sthita Prajna talks, how he moves, that is, how he maintains a balance between the external world and his inner world. Awareness is a powerful creative energy or force, I can say, and an instrument of change, but it doesn't change anything. It is an instrument of change, but it doesn't change anything. Awareness causes the unwanted conditions to transform, to disappear. Few days ago, I had read a story. It was in the form of a message in the WhatsApp. It is about a famous sculptor who had made an amazing structure of Buddha and became world famous. Once a tourist asked him, how could he bring out such a wonderful image of Buddha from a marble slab? The sculptor said, I didn't do much. When I looked at the slab, I saw Buddha's image on it. I just kept it and removed those which were not Buddhas. Thank you very much. Wish you all a very meaningful and productive Indian Section Convention. I do thank the organizers, Maria, Shikhar, and all others for their effort to make it a grand success. I would now request Brother Gohil to propose a vote of thanks.
I would like to extend my gratitude to all my colleagues at the Indian Section campus in Varanasi, to all the employees here, and to all those persons who have worked voluntarily to make what is reported here possible. The first name that comes to my mind is that of Brother V. Narayanan. He is the person who has run the headquarters from 17th March 2020 till date as officiating president in my absence. As I have mentioned earlier, I had left Varanasi on 16th March to attend the centenary annual conference of Telugu Federation. Before that, I had to go to my hometown, Bhavnagar. The conference got cancelled and I was locked down here at home in Bhavnagar. Mr. Narayanan has spent many hours on phone and also communicated extensively through internet to keep me informed about everything that happened relevant to our work. I'm extremely grateful to him. I'm also very grateful to Sister Uma Bhattacharya for her help in college and hostel matters regarding general administration, and largely of her outstanding contribution in coordinating the volunteers for the work of hosting the International Convention. Brother Shikhar Agnihotri, the convention officer, helped us significantly for a couple of months by moving from Adyar to Varanasi, leaving his family there and working hard in giving final shape to the convention. I'm very thankful to him. Brother S. Sundaram continued to work in his routine manner even during the lockdown. It was a miracle that he has been able to regularly edit and get the Indian Theosophist published every month, except for May when the press was closed. He still published the May-June issue. He regularly discussed matters related to the Indian Theosophist with me. He also discussed the contents he planned to include in the next issue. I had only ensured that he would have all my editorials ready up to December 2020. I'm very grateful to him for his voluntary contribution. I must thank all the 4 managers and principals, their faculty and staff, and hostel warden for outstanding help they rendered during the International Convention. Nothing could have been possible without them. I must also thank the members of the Indian Section Council, the Executive Committee, BEF, and the Federation Presidents and Secretaries for supporting me fully in the work. Mr. Om Prakash Yadav was an all-rounder without whom we could not have managed the convention. Typing, operating the computer, using the proper software for our work, and physically being present day and night is something very few can do. Mr. J.S. Chauhan, our main contractor, ensured that the Radha Bernier Amphitheatre extension and upgradation of Suryashram and completion of Harmony building took place in time for the convention. I'm very grateful to him for his very sincere efforts. How can I forget Mr. A.N. Singh, Mr. Rajkumar Pandey, Mr. Somnath Maurya, and Santosh Yadav, along with all volunteers and employees of our Indian Section family. I thank them all heartily and feel that it was such a pleasure to work with them all. I'm very thankful to our International Secretary for making this arrangement for the Indian Section Convention 1, and to Brother Shikhar Agnihotri for helping us in our recording and translations in different languages. I'm grateful to our International President Tim Boyd for accepting our invitation to inaugurate this convention. Finally, I'm thankful to our International Vice President, Dr. Deepa Padhi, to chair this convention.
I wish you all a very meaningful and productive Indian Section Convention. Now I declare the first session of the Indian Section closed. Namaste.